Skinwalker Ranch, Brandon Fugal's scientific investigation. A billionaire turns cameras on America's most paranormal property, capturing what science cannot explain in real time. Long before the cameras arrive, before the drilling rigs pierce the desert floor, before the radiation detectors begin their alarming chorus, Skinwalker Ranch exists as rumor and whisper. The 512-acre property in Utah's Uinta Basin carries decades of reports that defy conventional explanation. Then, in 2016, everything changes. Brandon Fugal, one of the most successful commercial real estate developers in the Mountain West, purchases the property from aerospace entrepreneur Robert Bigelow. What follows transforms the ranch from shadowy legend into the most publicly documented paranormal investigation site in the world. Fugal approaches the property not as a sensationalist, but as a businessman accustomed to dealing in verifiable facts and documented outcomes. His decision represents a calculated risk. Unlike previous ownership periods marked by secrecy and restricted access, Fugal makes a choice that surprises even those familiar with the ranch's history. He opens the investigation to public documentation. In 2020, the History Channel begins broadcasting Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, a series that follows the ongoing scientific investigation of phenomena that have resisted explanation for generations. The investigation Fugal funds represents an unprecedented commitment of resources. Ground-penetrating radar units scan beneath the desert surface. Aerial drones equipped with multiple camera systems patrol the skies above the property. A comprehensive network of scientific instruments monitors electromagnetic fields, radiation levels, atmospheric conditions, and spectral anomalies across every acre of the ranch. Deep drilling operations probe geological formations that instrumental readings suggest may contain structures inconsistent with natural formation processes. The team Fugal assembles brings credentials that ground the investigation in scientific methodology. Dr. Travis Taylor, a rocket scientist with a doctorate in aerospace engineering and extensive experience as a defense contractor, leads the scientific analysis. Eric Erickson serves as principal investigator, coordinating the various research efforts across the property. Tom Winterton, who served as caretaker during the Bigelow ownership period, provides institutional knowledge of the ranch's documented history and the specific locations where previous phenomena occurred. Dragon's Domain Productions handles the documentation, ensuring that events are captured on multiple camera systems with timestamps that allow for subsequent verification and analysis. The mesa dominates the landscape. This prominent geological feature rises above the surrounding terrain, visible for miles across the Uinta Basin. Early in the investigation, instrumental surveys identify the mesa as the center of the most intense electromagnetic and radiation anomalies recorded on the property. What should register as simple rock and soil instead produces readings that fluctuate without apparent cause, spiking to levels that exceed normal background radiation and then dropping to baseline within moments. Ground-penetrating radar surveys reveal what appears beneath the surface. The imaging shows structured subsurface anomalies. The formations display geometric regularities inconsistent with natural geological processes. The readings suggest cavities, chambers, or structures at depths that should contain only compressed sedimentary layers. The team cross-references the data with geological surveys of similar terrain. The comparisons highlight the anomalies. What lies beneath Skinwalker Ranch does not match what lies beneath comparable properties in the surrounding region. The drilling operations begin with standard industrial equipment. The objective is straightforward: extract core samples from the areas where ground-penetrating radar detected the subsurface anomalies. The process should be routine. Instead, as the drill bit penetrates specific depths, phenomena manifest above ground. Multiple camera systems, operating simultaneously from different positions on the property, capture aerial phenomena appearing in proximity to the drilling site. The objects display characteristics that resist conventional identification. They move in patterns inconsistent with known aircraft, drones, or atmospheric phenomena. They appear on thermal imaging, visible spectrum cameras, and instrumental sensors simultaneously, ruling out lens flares or single-system malfunctions. The team reviews the footage frame by frame. The timestamps align across all camera systems. The phenomena appear at the precise moments when the drilling operations reach specific depths. When drilling stops, the phenomena cease. When drilling resumes, they return. The correlation suggests a relationship between the subsurface intrusion and the aerial response, though the mechanism remains unexplained. Radiation exposures become a documented concern. Investigators carrying personal dosimeters register exposures above acceptable levels while working in specific areas of the property. The readings are not uniform across the ranch. Certain locations produce elevated radiation consistently. Others produce intermittent spikes. Still others register normal background levels. The pattern defies the distribution expected from either natural geological sources or environmental contamination. The medical evaluations that follow document the exposures. Investigators seek professional assessment to determine whether the radiation levels pose acute health risks. The evaluations confirm that exposures occurred. The cameras capture the moment when dosimeters alert. The timestamps, the instrumental readings, and the subsequent medical documentation create a chain of evidence that transforms anecdotal reports into documented events subject to independent verification. The public nature of the investigation generates both support and skepticism. Viewers of the History Channel series number in the millions. Some approach the documentation as evidence of phenomena that science has yet to explain. Others question whether the entertainment format compromises the scientific rigor of the investigation. Fugal addresses the tension directly in interviews and public statements. He maintains that the decision to document publicly serves multiple purposes. It creates accountability. It provides transparency. It subjects findings to scrutiny from a global audience that includes credentialed scientists, engineers, and researchers who analyze the documented events and offer alternative explanations or confirm the anomalous nature of the readings. The mesa continues to dominate the investigation's focus. Subsequent surveys using increasingly sophisticated instrumentation confirm the initial findings. Electromagnetic readings fluctuate in patterns that do not correlate with known sources. Radiation spikes occur without identifiable triggers. Thermal imaging captures temperature differentials that suggest heat sources beneath the surface, where geological surveys indicate only cold rock should exist. The drilling operations extract core samples from increasing depths. Analysis of the samples reveals geological compositions consistent with the region's known formations. No exotic materials emerge. No physical artifacts surface. The samples themselves offer no explanation for the instrumental anomalies recorded during their extraction. The disconnect between the dramatic instrumental readings and the unremarkable physical evidence deepens the mystery rather than resolving it. Dr. Taylor and the team conduct experiments designed to replicate the anomalous readings under controlled conditions. They introduce known radiation sources to determine whether the instrumentation might malfunction or misreport. The instruments perform as expected. They test for electromagnetic interference from the equipment itself. The interference exists, but cannot account for the magnitude or pattern of the anomalies recorded in specific ranch locations. They compare readings taken on the ranch with readings taken from control sites in the surrounding area. The control sites register normal background levels. The ranch registers persistent anomalies. The investigation expands to include analysis of historical reports. Fugal and his team review documentation from previous ownership periods. They compare current findings with phenomena reported during the NIDS investigation under Robert Bigelow. Patterns emerge. Areas identified as anomalous during the NIDS period continue to produce anomalous readings under the Fugal investigation. The consistency across ownership periods and investigative teams suggests the phenomena are properties of the location rather than artifacts of specific methodologies or observer bias. As of 2026, the investigation continues. No resolution has been achieved. The drilling operations, despite producing dramatic instrumental readings and documented aerial phenomena, have not extracted physical evidence that explains the ranch's persistent anomalies. The radiation exposures, while documented and medically evaluated, have not been traced to identifiable sources. The subsurface structures suggested by ground-penetrating radar remain unexcavated and unverified through direct observation. What Fugal's investigation has achieved is the creation of the most comprehensive scientific record of phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch in the property's documented history. The instrumental data, captured on multiple independent systems and broadcast to millions of viewers, provides a baseline for future investigation. The public documentation ensures that the findings cannot be dismissed as rumor or relegated to classified reports unavailable for peer review. The History Channel series transforms Skinwalker Ranch from a location known primarily within paranormal research communities into a mainstream cultural phenomenon. The ranch becomes the most publicly recognized site of ongoing paranormal investigation in the world. The documentation reaches audiences who would never attend a paranormal conference or read research papers, bringing questions about unexplained phenomena into living rooms across the globe. The legacy of Fugal's ownership and investigation remains incomplete. The phenomena persist. The questions multiply rather than resolve, but the commitment to public documentation and scientific methodology establishes a standard for how such investigations might be conducted. The ranch stands as a challenge to both skeptics and believers, a place where instrumental readings and documented events demand explanation while resisting every attempt to provide one. If you found this case compelling, subscribe to Vanishing Roads for more documented paranormal investigations from around the world. This story was created with AI assistance based on documented case files. All events reference real investigations and reported incidents.